So one of my big things doing this work is, since I started doing it, people always ask me what it is, and I never know what to say. Like, people would say, is it life coaching? And I've always hated that, because in my head, the story I have about life coaching is it's someone who's been on a weekend course and then tells everyone to be happy all the time. And I'm like, that's not this work. And it was only a few weeks ago, I've started training someone else to be a coach. So I was like, right. And I do this every now and then. I'm like, well, instead of just not knowing the answer, come up with an answer. And what I realised was, do you all know what NLP is? Mm-hmm. I know you know. Yeah?
I'm on that next week, by the way.
Oh, is that next week?
Yeah, so back here again next week.
Oh, quality. Well, you have to tell me how that goes. Yeah. So NLP was two guys started putting all different therapies together, put them all together and came up with their own thing and called it NLP. Like, that didn't used to exist. It was something they created. And every time I'd ask clients, what do you think of this work? What's it like? And they'd be like, what? Even they'd be like, it's a bit of a cross between therapy and coaching, but it's not life coaching and it's not normal coaching. It's not therapy, because therapy is like just talking about stuff, but this is practical. And so then last week I was just like, well, I've invented something new then. So I'm just going to call this something new, like NLP. I'm like, this is what it is. And when people go, what's that? Well, I invented it. So the working name is, and I was thinking before, you'll forget this yourself because you've only just named it, EPR, Transformational Coach, Therapy and Coaching. And EPR stands for emotional, psychological, and real, because that's the whole point. We do all of it. And that's why people think it's like therapy and coaching combined, because we get into all of the emotional and psychological stuff, and we do practical stuff, like real life stuff where people can go, I get it. The number of people who come to me who work with therapists and say, I get it. Like, I get the emotional stuff. I just sit there for hours talking. And then I'll say to the therapist, so what should I do? And they go, just feel your emotions. It's like, no, I mean, what should I actually say to my wife? Or what should I say to my boss? Or what should I say to my husband? And they're like, I don't know. And that's like, we'll literally get into that practical stuff. So I was thinking the other day, because something I like to do is boil stuff down to be as simple as it possibly can. And I love pictures. And this just came to me in bed the other night, right? So the difference between this and the traditional, I always talk about not liking the traditional personal development and self-help worlds now. And I used to love them. I'm like a proper gamekeeper turned poacher. So this is the diagram I came up with. So this is where most people are in the land of problems, really unhappy. And what the personal development and self-help world say is, this is the personal development mountain. And they say you've got to climb the personal development mountain, and you'll hear things like climb, battle, fight, push yourself. And then you'll have things like procrastination. You'll need motivation. There'll be loads of life hacks. You'll get imposter syndrome along the way. And then what happens is you get to the top of personal development mountain, and where everyone wants to get to is Paradise Beach. But you get to the top and people go, like I'm walking down here with a few people, and people here go, how the fuck did you get down there? And all the people on personal development mountain go, just jump. And you go, what? You go, just jump. And then they go, what? And you go, just take a leap of faith. Just jump. And you look down and there's all these dead bodies. And you're like, that's fucking petrifying. I'm not going to jump. And they say to me, how did you get down there? Did you jump? And I say, don't be fucking ridiculous. Why would I jump? Like, people die if they jump off the edge of a cliff. Think about it and think about that imagery. Like, they go, take a leap, just jump off the edge. You're like, imagine if you were literally standing on the edge of a cliff and someone's like, just jump off. You're like, fuck that, I'm not doing it, which is why people don't do it. And we get stuck up here. So what I say is, just walk back down the stairs. So there's a stairway to safety. Because actually, and this is one of my favourite quotes, and I need to start nailing quotes because I always just bastardise people's quotes. But there's a Joseph Campbell quote, which is something like, the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter. And that's this. So this is the cave of hidden treasure. And instead of going over the mountain, we go through the cave. And this is where the two things that we do in the book, which is heal and transform, we learn all about where the problems come from, which is emotional and psychological. And then we collect treasure along the way, because there's treasure all the way down. There's big treasure in the middle. And then we go through the transform section, which is all about stories and your shadow and your needs and your wants and boundaries. And then we go up the stock market stairway to transformation, which we'll learn more about as we go through this weekend. And then you get to the beach. And the beauty of this path is that at any point, you can stop and come back. And you can collect the treasure, whatever treasure you get to, and come back. And every time you collect some treasure and come back, these problems get smaller. So you never actually have to end up here. you can just come back here. And just all the stuff you learned down here, even if this gets too frightening and it's too dark and too much, every time you come back, it's a bit nicer. But if then, and the other thing is, there's not just one go, so you can come back as many times as you want. And eventually, when you get over here, you just walk around the world not listening to the news. Does that make sense? Yeah? Any questions about anything already?
Did you come up with yourself?
No? Did what?
Did you come up with yourself?
Yeah.
Really good.
Do you like it?
Yeah,
It's
really
awesome,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
is.
visual representation was really good. Yeah. I'm a visual person. That's really good.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I really like that.
Thank you. And I drew it myself as well. Which is